Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today we're talking about a new upcoming free-to-play third-person shooter by Hi-Rez called Rogue Company. Yeah, kind of a little bit of a mouthful here. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna have to replay that trailer over and over again. Hopefully you guys don't mind. But if you want more in-depth footage of Rogue Company, I'm going to have that over on Free For All, which is my journalistic channel talking about all upcoming free-to-play games. List videos abound and so much more to surround everything that is free to play. And giveaways and such will also be there to be found. Yeah, Rogue Company, though, by Hi-Rez, another hero shooter. So this is gonna, I don't know, you could almost count the original Tribes as like a precursor to hero shooters a little bit. Global Agenda was a RPG shooter, which had like hero mechanics. I mean, you know, they got Paladins. Smite is, in some cases, if you play a hunter or range character, can feel like a shooter. Like, dude, Realm Royale, they got a lot of shooters, a lot of RPG shooters or RPG-inspired shooters, okay? And I think that Rogue Company has a good shot at being something decent for a number of reasons, but the first one is it's made by Hi-Rez, so it's gonna have a shot at being something for at least some time. But I guess we should talk about the whole Hi-Rez hippo in the corner. Yeah, Hi-Rez is known for copy pasting. Hi-Rez is also known for being kind of original, you know, serendipitously. With Smite. Smite was like a copy-paste game with over-shoulder camera, but actually when you get in the game, there's some really good mechanics that totally change how you would think the game would play when you actually, you know, play it for real. Tribes Ascend was fun. Of course, obviously, they just took the IP there. Global Agenda had some really unique mechanics. And if you play Paladins, you know that, yeah, it's kind of a clone game, and it didn't start as a clone game, but it kind of is a clone game, but then they kind of made it and branched it off, and there's actually some minute things that make it really, really different for some people. Of course, everyone plays games differently. But basically what I'm saying is Hi-Rez is like polarizing, and Rogue Company is probably going to be a similar game. So let's go ahead and talk about some things that seem apparent, but I think might not be the case. So Rogue Company, especially with the fact that it's mercenaries and kind of a bit of the aesthetic, that it's you know, kind of like pseudo postmodern military hero shooter that's like really cheesy, kind of harkening back to the era of like, you know, early 2000s free-to-play shooters. It kind of reminds of Dirty Bomb. But actually, I think Rogue Company is going to play a lot more like if Call of Duty made like a really cheesy free-to-play version. Yeah, and it was third-person shooter. That's kind of more, I think it's going to be more team deathmatch. I think it's going to be more, you know, kills and kill streaks and stuff like that. And just really more quick, clean fun, which is kind of the opposite of battle royales a little bit. It's kind of very opposite of the objective-based gameplay that we see a lot in hero shooters. And I think Rogue Company is basically like really going to take the spirit of early 2000s cheesy free-to-play shooters and, well, it's going to go ham with it. That's what I think. Dirty Bomb was sort of like, okay, hero shooters and objective-based, team-based gameplay was kind of coming up, and they kind of floundered that. Rogue Company, it might look like that. It might even be inspired by that aesthetically, but in terms of gameplay, totally different game, totally different market, and it really is about time that we got another shooter like this. This is actually, I think, a very calculated and very smart move by Hi-Rez, especially because they already have like the objective-based shooter free-to-play market kind of cornered a little bit. I mean, Team Fortress 2, obviously, right? I'm not gonna complain about that. But Hi-Rez, I mean, they got Smite. They have, you know, they actually have Realm Royale and Paladins, mainly Paladins. Like, they've already got those games. I don't think Rogue Company is going to compete with those games whatsoever. Totally different game, and I think it's very different from most of what's on the market right now. So yeah, really exciting stuff. I'm totally game for the cheese, absolutely. Now, who can play this game being free to play? This is what has me super duper excited, and why I'm kind of really confident that they're kind of focusing on that cheese factor, a very unbalanced and very silly factor to the gameplay. And that's because it's going to be cross-platform, cross-progressional on all platforms. Yeah, that's including Nintendo Switch. It's a PC game, Nintendo Switch game, it's a PlayStation 4 game, Xbox game. So basically, right out of the gate, that's what they wanted to do. They want a silly, quick, clean, Call of Duty, you know, cheesy type of game that anybody could just jump in and TDM. And that's amazing. You know, that's why I even started my new channel Free For All, because I love, you know, these IO games. I love battle royales or a number of these mobile games because it's just, dude, it's just so easy. It's just so easy to jump into these games and play with a bunch of people and make parties, make friends. It's so good. And so when you have them cross-platform, when you have them like browser-based games or mobile games or whatever, it's just really easy to get anybody into it. So if you have all the platforms and you can all play with each other, I don't know, playing Fortnite, it's great. Not always balanced, but it's really, really fun. And it's just really cool. It's very much the spirit of free-to-play, in my opinion. So yeah, it's going to be Mercenaries. It is a hero shooter, but it also seems that there's extra layers to it. If you actually play the new Plants vs. Zombies, you do have hero characters, and also Call of Duty, you have hero characters, but then you can switch around different guns, you can switch around different gadgets, and to an extent, different perks as well. So you can play totally differently, even though you might have the same skin, maybe the same passives, or maybe one ability, you still have a huge amount of customization within that. And I think that's where Rogue Company is going to be kind of focusing on that. Yeah, so we are going to have a number of different game modes. That news is not out there. We also don't know the rogues. The rogues are, well, the characters in this game. Sometimes they're called paladins or heroes or champions or gods. Idgaf, the characters in this game are called rogues. We don't know too much about them, but we can see from the gameplay that it looks like, I don't know how much of this is just cheesy cinematic kind of stuff, but it looks like the abilities might be just sort of weird. Like it looks like somebody's throwing like a katana, just throws a katana. One might be a super jump. It might be something that we can kind of expect or see from like Apex. Apex Legends abilities are kind of down to earth in a way. Like it's still hyperactive for like early 2000 shooters or Call of Duty standards, or what used to be Call of Duty standards. They're hyperactive then, but considering now where you have characters that are like going back in time or exploding entire maps and nukes, this, I think it's probably going to be more Apex-like, or even maybe more down to earth than that. So, but we don't know too much about them, sadly. I don't think that they're going to implement too many rogues at launch though, because it's probably going to focus on the customization, which is going to be a complete aspect that we're going to learn about in November, apparently. Yeah, so we got a little bit of time to learn about the weapons, but guys, honestly, it just looks like barely postmodern. It's probably going to be all of your favorite style of guns that you've seen in every other free-to-play shooter. Nothing probably too ridiculous, but what we will have is gadgets, and we'll see how the abilities actually interact with these guns. It might be possible that somebody, kind of similar to Quake Champions, certain abilities interact with the gunplay, where you actually just suddenly spawn a second weapon and you just akimbo them, pew pew, or maybe you drop all the guns and you go full melee and just one punch man them. Who knows? And then the gadgets, I bet, are going to be really inspired by Ghost Recon or maybe Rainbow Six, where you get a lot of like really fun, maybe like a sentry that can go out and zap people, and hopefully we get kill streaks and things. I would love it actually if the abilities were kill streaks, which I guess kind of is, I don't know, some of them kind of feel that way in Apex, but we'll see how that goes. Again, all sort of speculation, but this game does seem very like cheesy Call of Duty inspired, and I did actually see like either a javelin missile or some sort of airstrike. So either that's a gadget or an ability, I don't know, but I very much bet there's going to be a huge like swath of styles of gameplay. Normally in games like Paladins or Overwatch, you play a character and it's a very cohesive design, but I actually bet in this game, Rogue Company, you're gonna have gadgets that you just all of a sudden when you use the gadget, it'll totally change how you play, such as the kill streaks in Call of Duty, like the RC car. One way, you're running and gunning, and then next you're actually kind of playing like a little stealth mission or whatever with the RC car, trying to get it into the right position without getting shot, so you can get multiple people, or maybe you go into an airplane, or I guess you control a homing missile. I don't really know. If you do actually want a clone, a Call of Duty clone that's free to play, that's legitimately good, there is one called Iron Sights, which I actually covered. You should go check out those videos. But I think Rogue Company, being a third-person shooter, just by that very nature, also just like if it was a Call of Duty clone and being a third-person shooter, that actually changes the mechanics a lot, and that'll change the map design tremendous amount, make it a little bit more tactical. So the fact that they might add in some strange gadgets and doohickeys and abilities also might make it a little bit more tactical, just by the fact of those existing. So if the game design is still TDM based and it's still run and gun, like just the fact that it's third-person shooter with these other tactical elements will just kind of, it'll just make it more. It'll make it a very different experience that you're just gonna have to play and feel. And whenever you try to begin to take it a little bit more seriously, you'll realize it's very different. But yeah, let's talk about the seriousness of this game, by the way, because all the information is so vague. We probably will have a lot of different gameplay, from obviously SMG run and gun to sniping, and then even from there, like, what is the run and gun? Are you gonna have people who are bouncing off walls? Are you gonna have people who are just sprinting? Are you gonna have people who are just unstoppable juggernauts? And then snipers is somebody who's just standing still. Are they laying traps? Can they blink around the map? Who knows what the potential is for this game? But what I will say is that I think there is going to be a lot to do in the game. I hope that it is going to be generally unbalanced. I hope that it is actually cheesy and ridiculous. They constantly add weapons, and I hope that they do focus on that style of element, which is kind of the way Fortnite works. It's kind of overall how Hi-Rez has balanced generally. I guess they should just go hand with that, which is quantity over quality, which I'm actually fine with. But I do hope that even if they do go with that philosophy, that they still, much like almost all their other games, I hope that they push a competitive scene. I think that's fine, and I think with this game more so than others, it'll kind of balance itself out. I don't know if you guys play Paladins, but Paladins, even though some things are really cheesy and can be very unbalanced, because players make the loadouts, it's almost like players can kind of balance the game themselves. Now, I don't know how Rogue Company is going to handle picks and bans and things like that. I doubt they're even going to do that. I think it's probably just going to be a free-for-all, just go ham, go crazy, just do it up. And you know what? That's cool. I'm actually totally fine with that. I'm ready for that cheese. But I do hope that even though the game is going to be cheesy inherently, I mean, look, we got battle royales having esport competitions. I think we can have a team deathmatch style game. Give it some love with the esport scene. And Hi-Rez has generally been decent at that. They have not been the worst. You guys cannot say they've been the worst, because Smite's still up and running. Paladins is doing okay. I don't know about that Realm Royale, but Rogue Company has a chance. And even if it doesn't go full competitive, I think it's going to be a really, really fun game. Some games that this reminds me of, I immediately can tell you, Gotham City Imposters. Yeah, that's a big one. Also, Blacklight Retribution actually had a hero shooter styling to it. And I think there's a few others that you guys can actually probably name that have somewhat recently come out, or in the this last decade, like before 2010, or past 10 years of free-to-play shooters. Rogue Company seems to be kind of like a resurgence, or hopefully we get more games like this. I want to see more free-to-play shooters out there. But Rogue Company, I think, is very much inspired by older games, because lately a lot of games have just been very samey, or if they're have not been the same, they've all been, it's either battle royale or objective team based. And we haven't had that old school TDM gameplay in a long time, which I think has a lot of people hungry for, arena shooters and things like that. So, hey, maybe if we can get like a really cheesy arena shooter up and coming, which I think we will pretty soon here with Diabolical. I don't know if that's even going free to play. A Rogue Company, in terms of like postmodern or modern military shooter, heck yeah, I'm really game for it. And I'm just loving the third-person shooters that have come out recently, like Plants vs. Zombies is fantastic. Gears of War 5. By the way, you can get both of those games by doing their publishers' respective Premier passes, their subscription services. So that's pretty cool. But being free to play, I'll probably play Rogue Company much more, especially on stream, and especially covering it over on Free for All. Anyways, guys, not too much information out here. A lot of this is conjecture, based on Hi-Rez's other games, and I'm just saying stuff and things, but I will probably talk more about it. I'll give you more news. If you guys go watch Free for All that content's going to be over there, playing each individual character, lots of different loadouts. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And that's going to go for a lot of different games that are up and coming that happen to be free to play. Hope you guys keep the hype alive for that. Get excited. But I am going to cover Rogue Company. I want to review it. I want to check it out. I've done it for Iron Sight. Oh yeah, that was another game that recently came out. Iron Sight, Black Squad, etc. Could go down the list. So many, lots of good times to be had. But I think Rogue Company is our best shot for something that might stick around in the limelight for a little bit, and maybe, dare say, become kind of popular. I just think people are hungry for a game like this right now. Then again, we do have the new old Call of Duty coming out again. That's debatable. Okay, so we'll see how this competes. But I think it actually will do fine. I think it's going to do great. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know. And all I can ask is, I don't know. I hope you guys had fun. And I'll see you in the next one.